Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 218 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation where we use female words. This would be August 6th if you're starting at the new year. Many forms, one correction. It is not difficult to understand the reasons why you do not ask the Holy Spirit to solve all problems for you. She has not greater difficulty in resolving some than others. Every problem is the same to her because each one is solved in just the same respect and through the same approach. The aspects that need solving do not change. Whatever form the problem seems to take, a problem can appear in many forms, and it will do so while the problem lasts. It serves no purpose to attempt to solve it in a special form. It will recur, and then recur again, and yet again, until it has been answered for all time and will not rise again in any form, and only then are you released from it. The Holy Spirit offers you release from every problem that you think you have. They are the same to her because each one, regardless of the form it seems to take, is a demand that someone suffer loss and make a sacrifice that you might gain. And when the situation is worked out so no one loses, is the problem gone, because it was an error in perception that now has been corrected. One mistake is not more difficult for her to bring to truth than is another, for there is but one mistake. The whole idea that loss is possible and could result in gain for anyone. If this were true, then God would be unfair, sin would be possible, attack be justified, and vengeance fair. This one mistake in any form has one correction. There is no loss. To think there is a mistake. You have no problems, though you think you have, and yet you could not think so if you saw them vanish one by one without regard to size, complexity, or place and time, or any attribute which you perceive that makes each one seem different than the rest. Think not the limits you impose on what you see can limit God in any way. The miracle of justice can correct all errors. Every problem is an error. It does injustice to the child of God and therefore is not true. The Holy Spirit does not evaluate injustices as great or small or more or less. They have no properties to her. They are mistakes from which the child of God is suffering but needlessly, and so she takes the thorns and nails away. She does not pause to judge whether the hurt be large or little. She makes but one judgment, that to hurt God's child must be unfair, and therefore is not so. You who believe it safe to give but some mistakes to be corrected, while you keep the others to yourself, remember this: justice is total. There is no such thing as partial justice. If the child of God is guilty, then she is condemned, and she deserves no mercy from the God of justice. But ask not God to punish her because you find her guilty and would have her die. God offers you the means to see her innocence. Would it be fair to punish her because you will not look at what is there to see? Each time you keep a problem for yourself to solve or judge that it is one that has no resolution, you have made it great and past the hope of healing. You deny the miracle of justice can be fair. If God is just, then can there be no problems that justice cannot solve. But you believe that some injustices are fair and good and necessary to preserve yourself. It is these problems that you think are great and cannot be resolved. For there are those you want to suffer loss, and no one whom you wish to be preserved from sacrifice entirely. Consider once again your special function. One is given you to see in her her perfect sinlessness, and you will ask no sacrifice of her because you could not will she suffer loss. The miracle of justice you call forth will rest on you as surely as on her, nor will the Holy Spirit be content until it is received by everyone. For what you give to her is everyone's, and by your giving it can she ensure that everyone receives it equally. Think then how great your own release will be when you are willing to receive correction for all your problems. You will not keep one, for pain in any form you will not want, and you will see each little hurt resolved before the Holy Spirit's gentle sight. For all of them are little in her sight, and worth no more than just a tiny sigh before they disappear, to be forever undone and unremembered. What seemed once to be a special problem, a mistake without a remedy, or an affliction without a cure, has been transformed into a universal blessing. Sacrifice is gone, and in its place the love of God can be remembered, and will shine away all memory of sacrifice and loss. God cannot be remembered until justice is loved instead of feared. She cannot be unjust to anyone or anything because she knows that everything that is belongs to her and will forever be as she created it. Nothing she loves but must be sinless and beyond attack. Your special function opens wide the door beyond which is the memory of her love, kept perfectly intact and undefiled. And all you need to do is but to wish that heaven be given you instead of hell, and every bolt and barrier that seems to hold the door securely barred and locked will merely fall away and disappear. For it is not your mother's will that you should offer or receive less than she gave when she created you in perfect love. A funny little thing I often think of is The Princess Bride, where Princess Buttercup apologizes that she didn't want to marry the evil prince. It just kind of happened. And Wesley's like, well, did you say I do? And she said, no, we kind of skipped that part. And he's like, well, if you didn't say I do, then it wasn't done. You didn't do it. And it makes me think of how A Course in Miracles is like, all the things that you think you did, you didn't do them. But likewise, all the things that you think anyone that you think of as not you did, they didn't do either. So we have to hold the very same mercy and forgiveness out to anyone else that we would like to see offered to ourselves. You didn't say I do? It wasn't done. How is this the case? Well, if you think about it, A Course in Miracles teaches us that we are still as God created us. We are made of love and nothing but love, and love would never consent to do anything that isn't love. And that's the only part of us that is real. So any part of us that consented to do anything that's not love isn't us. We didn't say I do, so it wasn't done. A Course in Miracles admits that the ego is a sinner, very much so, and always will be, since sin cannot be undone. But thankfully, the ego is an illusion, and that is what the Course is asking us to awaken to, and to allow that that is the case for everyone else. So never hold somebody's ego against them, lest you feel that your ego is held against you. So once again, we have this all or nothing, this idea that we can't really be helped by the Holy Spirit to solve one problem until we've given over all our problems. So how does this work with how imperfect we are at giving over our problems? Well, I think that in the illusion we see the gradients, we see the shades of gray between good and bad, between fortune and misfortune. We see order of difficulty in miracles. We see evidence of us being helped. We see ways that things begin to come to fruition, but then don't quite make it all the way. And we know that the fact that they got as far as they did was the grace of heaven. And then we see the self-sabotage come in. But no matter what we see in the illusion, the truth remains that all of this is very easy for the Holy Spirit to repair. So what is it that causes us to withhold some of these problems from handing over to the Holy Spirit? It's because we do not yet want only heaven, healing, and blessing for those we think of as not us. As long as we have the tiniest hint of wanting loss for someone else, the whole kit and caboodle is not ours. And so, yes, in the illusion, there seems to be this back and forth, tipping one way, tipping the other way. And that's just illusion. It was always all or nothing. And the truth is, the journey's already finished. We're just, in a sense, reviewing it, and it seems like we are living it in the present moment. That's one of the things A Course in Miracles teaches. That we are doing this at all is an illusion. But still, in the illusion, we are navigating our minefield, our labyrinth of disbelief and resistance. The Holy Spirit can only work with us where we yield, where we offer up willingly, even if that willingness is so tiny, just a tiny part of all the other complicated things that we're feeling. The more and more convinced we are that love really is gentle, that love really does bring abundance to everyone, and we're not afraid of some hidden bugaboo, some gotcha that's going to jump out at the end and cause us to have loss, the more we trust that that's never part of God's plan, and if that happens, it's because we did it to ourselves, the more willing we are, the more quick we are to hand it over to the Holy Spirit and say, please, I know that I only make a mess of this when I try to handle this myself. It's that relinquishing, that handing over in the realm of thoughts, not in the physical realm. This is something that happens within our minds. It's all about the thoughts we think. That's what we have to get. The stuff that happens in the outside world is not nearly as important as the thoughts we entertain and attach to and revisit repeatedly. That's where it matters. The Holy Spirit loves absolutely everything, and everything she loves must be sinless and beyond attack. The Course understands that we find this a challenge. The Course understands that we have our reasons why we resist the message and we don't like the message in some ways. There's some ways that we like it very much, but there's others that we don't like it. That throwing the book across the room moment that most of us have when we're studying A Course in Miracles. But we only throw the book across the room because we still believe in loss. We still believe in punishment. We still believe in suffering. If we really understood the nature of love, we would never throw the book across the room because we'd understand that everything in A Course in Miracles is really good news and will bring us great happiness and joy. But we're a little dense. We're a little hard-headed. So A Course in Miracles is like a series of trying to get the same message to us repeatedly with slightly different perspectives and angles each time. Like, do you get it now? 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 And this talks about how problems will take infinite forms and it will reoccur again and again and again, no matter what we try to do in the outside world, until we hand it over to love and we relinquish anything that's not love. Until then, we're playing a game of whack-a-mole. I'm tired of playing whack-a-mole, so I seek to be more and more consistent at handing it over more and more quickly, recognizing more and more quickly when I'm not. That's the whole game here. That's the name of the game. Give it to God, give it all to God, and give it to God faster. And realize there's nothing to be gained from not giving it to God. And again, God just means love. Give it to love. Lesson 218, review of Lesson 198. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. 198. Only my condemnation injures me. My condemnation keeps my vision dark, and through my sightless eyes I cannot see the vision of my glory. Yet today I can behold this glory and be glad. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. That is our short review for the day. Happy practicing.